Verify that we have audio. Definitely have video. Verify that we have audio. Definitely have video. Okay, so we're all good on that. Alrighty, it is not quite 3 o'clock, but we'll go ahead and get started anyway. It's just a couple seconds away. Live from Cabot, Arkansas. It's Sunday afternoon. Sunday. And it's time to answer some more of your financial questions. We go to the Reddit and we answer questions from the reddit.com/r/Dave Ramsey, the Dave Ramsey subreddit on there. On my page, there's a bunch of things you might be interested in. Coach Steve Money. You can contact me for a consultation, free consultation, assessment, calendly.com/coachstevemoney, or you can just email me, coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations, paypal.me/coachstevemoney, or you can go to, you can do Cash App, $ Coach Steve Money, or any Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. So let's get into questions. Pick up from where we left off yesterday. Alrighty. Here comes Branda Claus. Alright. Maybe somebody named Brandon? Don't know. Anyway, please help me with deciding how to pay student loans. Well, how you pay anything off is you do not spend the money on something else. Let's see. Okay, I'm in very deep. I don't have any undergraduate debt, but tons of professional school debt. We unfortunately don't learn the money side of things in school while becoming a doctor, so I'm asking for any advice. My current total debt is $304,000, $963.59. My current monthly payments are $1,408. $1,408.16 with income-based repayment, because that was about all I could afford at the time. I make about $6,000 after taxes monthly now, so this is going to be almost impossible, I know, but I want to see the best way to approach it. The best way to approach it, you remember when you could only afford at the time that $1,408 payment? Now that you make more money, you don't spend any more money than you did before. So you don't do any lifestyle creep stuff until all that debt is paid off. You don't live like a doctor. You live like a broke college student until that debt is paid off, no matter how much you make a month. You pay all that debt off, and that's how you do that. Otherwise, it's going to take forever. Toxic Zoomer 97. I'm on step 2.5 officially. Well, they don't have that. So let's see how the person gets 0.25. Either step 2 is to pay off all non-mortgage debt, smallest to largest amount. So, and then if you don't have any debt, then you're on step 3, which is saving the full emergency fund. So you can't be halfway. I don't know. Let's see what the person's at. Maybe they make a good case for once. We'll see. 26 man, and I have 2 debt accounts. A mortgage that I owe $183,000 on. Nice house. New appliances all around, large down payment, and a stupid car purchase that I owe $34,000 on yet. I have $17,000 in cash and $38,000 in retirement accounts. You wouldn't touch the retirement accounts. I paused all retirement. Great. I made my first large car payment of $1,320. I'm on 2.5 because I already have step 3 covered, and that doesn't make you on step 5. Guess what? If you have 1 cent of debt, you are on step 2. So nice try, but wrong. You're doing it wrong. I'm doubling it. Doubling back to step 2. No, you're not doubling back. You never left step 2. If you have never paid off the debt, I mean, and it's not, the house doesn't count. It's all non-mortgage debt is step 2. So you never left step 2, even though you did it wrong. You just did it wrong. People do it wrong all the time. Any advice? Overtime is not an option to me because I'm a salaried manager making $105,000 a year. $105,000 a year, and you got a stupid car purchase. Let's see what the rest of the question is. My DTI is currently 25% minus the none of that matters. None of that crap matters. Am I making the right call here? No, I cut back all spending on that. You are, and I'm waiting for the dust to settle. But should have a surplus of $3,000 a month. Great. I will be increasing payment sizes month over month accordingly. Once the car is paid off, I'll have a budget surplus of $3,600 a month, and we'll set my retirement savings at 15%. I have a secondary income stream of $2,000 a month as well, in addition to my W-2 job. Okay, well, that's great. So the advice is to, hey, how about you follow the baby steps? How about you empty that emergency fund, all except $1,000, and you pay that car off faster, and then that money you were going to put to pay the car off, you don't have to do anymore because the car is already paid off. So that money you can put into your emergency fund. So, I mean, you want advice? You want to know what you should do? You should follow the baby steps. All right, Kingsland, KC. Should I pay off my house? Part 2, yes. I wonder if we saw part 1. I'm 31 and I own a home worth $450,000 with a 2.875 interest rate. Who cares? And $160,000 left on the loan. I recently left a stressful career where I made $250 to $500K a year bags, and now own my own business, making a solid but much less $100K per year with much less stress. And that's fine. That's fine as long as you're not trying to still live like you make $250 to $500. My current plan is a 50-50 payout structure where I live off half my business income and reinvest the other half into the business. Okay, as long as you can do that. Does it have, let's see, that's just the house. So yeah, as long as you're paying more on it, you should be paying more on it, but you can grow a business at the same time at the speed of cash. That gives me around $50K a year to cover around 3.4 in personal monthly expenses between my loan, food, and bills. That gives me about $10K to invest. It should be 15% of your gross income. So $15,000 per year. If you're making 100K, it should be $15,000 per year that you should be putting in that. So you need to not reinvest a complete half of it, apparently, back into the business. 10K to invest, pay taxes, and pay any extra owe my home per year. Okay, yeah, so that's not doing it. You're doing it wrong. Without jumping back into my own career, it feels like I'm moving nowhere fast, and that is really not what I want to do, where you're making considerably less money. So, I mean, you're making half of your lowest, over half. I mean, you're making less than half than your previous low of 250K. So, and that is not even counting when you have 500K. So yeah, so you got to cut everything back if you're going to live on 100K per year. And also proceed on the baby steps as well. Let's see, the only debt I have to my name is this home loan. Okay, right? And so that would put you in step, if you have a full emergency fund, that would put you in step 4, 5, and 6. So if it didn't mention, hashtag mention that 5 applied, so we'll just say it's 4 and 6. And so, but you should be investing $15,000 a year because it should be 15%. And so you're low on the investment. side of it. So try to cut more expenses. Maybe you can find something else to do as well. Maybe a part-time job in addition to your business when you're not doing your business. Let's see. I also have around $75K in savings accounts for emergencies. Okay, so that's your emergency fund. So, but unless you have 10,000 a month in expenses, then that's too much. And so you could put that towards the investing slash paying off the home early in step 6. To cover unexpected business opportunities. That's not how it works. You're doing it wrong. This is all separate from my 401k of 6 figures as well. Okay, so you got 6 figures in there already. That's great. But now is the investing separate as well? Are you doing other investing? Should I sell my personal portfolio and pay off my loan or continue building as I have been? Thanks in advance for your thoughtful advice. If it's single stocks and not in a retirement account, yes. And also probably yes, if it's even if it's mutual funds and it's in a non-retirement account, then yeah, you would do that as well. And the idea is to finish the baby steps as fast as you can. Because then you would get to the step 7, and then that's build wealth and give, and then you would be doing all of this other stuff that you want to be doing. With the dividends, which consists of mutual funds, individual stocks, and around 8 to 10K a year in annual dividend payouts. And dividends are great, but the problem is dividends don't always mean that mutual fund is going to make more, or that stock is going to make more than another investment that you can have. So you shouldn't chase dividends. If dividends are part of it, that's fine, but you should not chase the dividends. It's like chasing reward points. You don't want to do that either. J-Min 91. Close out zero balance health savings account from previous employer. If it's got zero balance in it, you don't need it to be open, do you? Unless you're going to use it again. Fidelity health savings account from previous employer that no longer has any money in the account. Think about closing the account. Is it a good idea to just be done with the account, or should I hang on to it? Any benefits to keeping it open? Thanks. If you're not going to use it, there's no need to have it. You can close it. Bluebird Soul Crew. Question title is Baby Step 2 - 401k employer matches 200%. That's a nice match. Question for y'all. I'm on Baby Step 2 with a clear-cut plan to be debt-free besides mortgage by this November. Excellent. I understand we're supposed to stop all contributions to the retirement. Yes, that's true. But there's anything you put after the but doesn't matter. Or in my case, or anything like that, none of that matters. Nothing you can type there changes the advice. But I'll read it anyway. But my employer matches 200% in my 401k if I contribute 5%. $2 for every $1 I put in up to 5%. Right. I've been doing the math and believe I will have all debt paid off by November. Yeah, but if you stop contributing to your 401k, you'll pay it off even faster than that. And then you can get back to your investing. If you also have, which you shouldn't have, an emergency fund. Otherwise, you would be on step 3 for the emergency fund. So you should not have savings either. Let's see. There's more to the question always. I have to open these all the time. Since I will have all debt paid off by November, I shouldn't adjust to 0. What is this? I've been doing, and believe you shouldn't adjust to 0. Well, you get to do what you want. The baby steps are just the proven way that it works. I'm wondering if Dave would consider this as an exception case. No! Everybody thinks they're an exception. They think their little situation is an exception always. 200% match is great, of course. Absolutely it is. But that still doesn't change the baby steps. I'd be debt-free roughly September instead of November. Right, and that's the idea. Get debt-free as fast as you can. And that is the mandate. And that is how you get from where you are to where you want to be faster. Have a personal loan where I owe $18,000. All right, mister. So, I don't know if you've heard of this Dave Ramsey guy, but he's anti-debt. And so step 2, even before the step 3, and of course before the step 4, investing, is to pay off all debt. And you definitely, even, you know, let's just say there's like a new world order or something like that, and Dave had some kind of horrific brain injury, and he then said, oh yeah, go ahead and do that. Go ahead and do that 200% match thing instead of paying off debt. Even if he did that, he wouldn't put you up to step 4 already too. Oh, and yeah, and also go past the emergency fund and have other debt as well, and go ahead and invest. He would not say that. I have a personal loan where I owe $18,000 interest, and a 401k loan, beep beep boo doo again, where I owed $19,000 where the interest is paid back to myself. This will all be paid off in November if I stick to the original plan and stay at 5% interest. Also, in November, I have RSU, stock units that will vest, where I'm going to use these to completely pay off my car note 3. So that just keeps going. The debt just keeps expanding. And he's still supposed to be debt-free by November, which that's great. I'll be debt-free. And moving on to baby step 3 for emergency fund thoughts. So he even skipped the emergency fund and went straight to investing. So you're doing it wrong. People are going to do it wrong. Always. But there's nothing that you have that makes an exception. You either are doing the baby steps in order as written, or you're pausing them because it's some kind of emergency. And then when the emergency is over, you unpause them and you're right back to where you started before, and you run them in order the same way. There's nothing that changes it. Nothing. Maybe I'm the exception. Everybody thinks it. So many callers to the Ramsey show. They think it. They're not. The Ramsey plan works in ways I didn't expect. This from Quick Length 8043. Some context. All right, let's have that. All right, let's go ahead and open her up. I paid off my car this month and have paid around $20,000 towards debt in the past 2 years. So all I have is some student loan debt. It's around $14,000 total, but I only have a $170 monthly payment on it now after paying off 2 of the other loans I had. All right. And okay, let's see. The way the plan is working for me that I didn't expect is I feel like I've finally been able to create some discipline in my life. Okay, great. It's been hard following the plan because when your income, $49,000, isn't astronomical, it takes a long time to pay the debt down. But I've stuck with it for 2 years now. Great. And I feel a huge sense of accomplishment. And I've also proven to myself that I can stick with something difficult for what has felt like a long ass time. All right. Anyway, I just wanted to share in case someone else didn't know the secret potential of the Ramsey plan. Hope all your days are well, all. Yeah, I did know about that. I mean, that is great. I mean, yeah, that's why you want to get the quick wins first. That's why you do when you're on baby step 2. You pay off the smallest debts first, and then you get those quick wins, and then you're like, yeah, I can do this, because you can. You just have to tell yourself no about dumb spending. Muscle Mom 1234 says, ask, how frugal are you? We've always been frugal and savers, never spending much money on much. Once we got to a financial point of comfort, I found we still buy 80% of our clothing from thrift stores. There's nothing wrong with that. Half of the grocery shopping is done at Aldi, and we still have our side hustles. Does that seem extreme? No, it doesn't. If you're happy and you have financial peace and you want to keep doing all of that stuff, if you even want to stay gazelle intense, I mean, you should be doing some fun stuff as well. But beyond that, who cares if you buy used clothes? Not me. From a homeschooling bodybuilding mom. All right. And so, yeah, I mean, I am in some ways, I pick my battles there. Like in my apartments, I always have in-unit washer and dryer. So I would see, I'm on that. Like as far as drinks are a good example. I don't do the Coke brand. I get the Kroger brand of zero sugar drink, and I get the 2 liters. And then if I need to take a 20 ounce somewhere, I pour it into a 20 ounce bottle from the 2 liter. And so all that, that kind of thing saves you money. It is extra work for you to do, but guess what? How much that extra work costs you? Donut. So yeah, I do a bunch of stuff like that to save money. So, but in some ways, I do pick and choose when to spend the extra money. When is Dave coming back to the show? I feel like, for me, he's been gone for weeks, and I honestly can't stand to watch the show if he's not on. It as the news. Player. Maybe Monday. Mod gave a soft commit on that. Mod is not going to say he did do the should be back Monday. He's not going to commit because he doesn't control it. It's not in his control. It's in Dave's control. Jealous Bike 6883, sell truck or pay it off. So that's tomorrow. He should be back. Sell truck or pay it off. Probably sell. Let's see. I have a GMC Sierra 1500 that has about $15K left on it. The car was bought in 2020 for $35K with a 3% loan. It has 29K miles on it. So I've barely driven it at all. Why'd you need to buy it then? The payment is $430. My wife has a Ford Escape that has 3.5 left on the loan, but at a ludicrous 12% APR. Okay, the car is about 100K miles and is probably worth $5K. Alrighty. Payment is $330. Kelly Blue Book has my truck priced at $36. And Facebook Marketplace has comparable cars priced around $40K. In my area, the 2 options I'm considering are selling both vehicles and use that money to do what? Pay off debt? Or make debt lower? And use that money to enter new loans on a more reliable car for my wife and a slightly less nice car for myself. The going up in debt is not an option, and you should not do that. You shouldn't do any of that thing. Taking out a new loan is not the thing to do. Now, what you could do when you're underwater on a car, a vehicle, you can take out a smaller loan, like your loan is, 15K on it? So if you could only sell it for 10K, then you'd be 5K underwater on it. But that's not the problem with your vehicle. So what you do is you can sell both vehicles, but then you have to buy 2 new vehicles with that amount of money. So less than that amount of money, preferably. So you can pay off any other debt. Is there any other debt? Or keep my truck until it's paid off and just save 10K-ish for a down payment for a new car. No, there's no, if you want the Ramsey advice, there's no loans anymore. Loans are a different thing. Loans are from before you heard the name Dave Ramsey. Unless you just want to do what you want to do and you're just asking for, I don't know what reason you would ask. It's illogical to be on the Ramsey subreddit and be thinking about people giving you non-Ramsey advice, although it does happen for sure. Let's see, calculating the car payments for these two vehicles actually lowers our monthly car payments. That doesn't matter. You're not supposed to go into debt anymore. I just don't want to shoot myself in the foot because I know I have a really good deal here with my truck. What would you do in my situation? I would follow the baby steps, and that's do not have debt anymore. No more debt. You're lowering the debt in all steps. There's no, I'll make the debt go higher right now, and I'll take out new loans for it said new car, and you're not supposed to buy a new car unless you have $1 million net worth. So everything you're doing there is bad. Sorry, Hovercraft 5748, retirement vehicles other than 401k and Roth IRA. You can max out a health savings account. You can do a backdoor Roth. Let's see, and then if you need like extra, you can, at worst comes to worst, you can always just do a non-retirement account, investing account. And that's, you don't get a break on taxes either way on that, either the contributions or the growth. You have to pay taxes before it goes in, and then when you take it out, you have to pay taxes on the gain. But that's still better than not investing enough. Let's see. So baby steps 4 and 6, 80K gross, and max out my Roth IRA, right? It's very easy to max out for most people because it is only $6,500 if you are under 50 years old. In order to get to 15% retirement savings, I need to save 12K. Okay, a month. You invest it, not just save it, invest it. And you get 15%, right? So, employer does not offer a 401k option. Okay, they used to have one with John Hancock, but about a year ago they closed our account, sent that money back to us. Interesting. Not a question about tax implications, okay? Since I'm maxing out my other end, there's no access to 401k. What is another retirement vehicle? I heard HSA is a good route for medical. Right. So you can do that, and you can also, if you do have medical expenses, you can use it for that. And our triple tax advantage, right? Before we go that road, are there any other vehicles that are flexible on qualifying expenses? No. Anything else is going to be taxed both ways. Yeah, if your business just doesn't have an option like that, or the employer doesn't have any type of retirement option, if they're not doing that, then you're on your own. Yeah, and so of course you would max that Roth. And then you could do the HSA and then just a brokerage account where you're just paying tax both ways. So it's not an advantage as far as the tax, but it's still going to make more than a regular savings account, even after the tax, if it's in good mutual funds. Government cheese. I forgot to put it back after I played the beep, beep, beep. There we go. I don't get why people in personal finance recommend that you do not pay your house and that you're better off putting that money in an HSA before they offer. Now, I sorted by new. I think we did this one before. I think we did that the other day, or it's the same thing as it. Because people on personal finance are just doing the math and they don't have a risk button on their calculator. So they're trying to get that extra 1 or 2% of interest, but it's not a match per match because because the house balance is way more than the high yield savings account if you're just starting it. So you see, you probably have $100,000 or more on the house that you're paying interest on. So you can't just go by percentage rate. You can't just go by the percentage. Because in the high yield savings account, you may be just putting $1,000 a month in there. And so that's not gonna even be more than the interest you're losing out on the mortgage by if you had the mortgage gone sooner. That's not gonna work. So you gotta do all the math, not just the part that lets you do what you want to do, that justifies what you want to do. Def not burner account 0. We're debt free. Thank God. I might have done that one too before, but I sorted by new, so I don't know why that's not there. Let's see, annuity. Yeah, this one too, but the other ones I don't think I did. On to baby step 4, 5, and 6. Just about done with baby step 3 and starting to plan out our budget in a post-debt world. Please let me know your thoughts. We budget monthly, but on a bi-weekly, every 4 weeks, income budget schedule. 4 weeks is a month. It feels like we should, maybe they mean twice a month. It feels like we should have more breathing room than we do, but maybe it's just the reality of the situation. Well, about that, you're not cutting enough stuff, probably. So if you're just about done with baby step 3, you should not, there wouldn't be any extra money, because all the extra money would be going into baby step 3, just like before, all the extra money would be going to paying off debt. So there wouldn't be any breathing room. The baby step 3 emergency fund is your breathing room, and so you're going to finish that, and so you stay gazelle intense until that's finished, and then you start 4, 5, and 6. And in that case, you're still using that snowball amount for steps 4, 5, and 6. But you can take your foot off the gas from gazelle, and you can chill a little bit, and you can schedule a vacation or spend money on fun stuff. All that's fine. Let's see. How do you determine how much to put towards baby step 5? Okay, so if you have kids already, you would go with the number that you want to have for them by the time they're 18 and do the math backwards to get to that. And you can include investment if you're putting it in, say, like an ESA or a state 529 account, because that's invested. So you can include that. You can determine that as well. And so that's how you would do it. So if they are just toddlers, just babies, you don't have to put that much towards that right now. And you can concentrate on the house, because paying the house off, because the house has the mortgage payment, and then if you pay the house off, then you can put all of that mortgage payment to into the investment account for the child's education, or you can use it to help cash flow that said education. Let's see. And how do you determine how much to put towards baby step 6? That's going to be anything that's left over after doing the 15% of gross income into investing. And of course, your expenses per month before that. So you got your expenses per month. That doesn't change. But then you need to do 15% of gross income into retirement. And then when that's done, then anything left over is, you see what little amount, if they're young kids, what little amount you need to start putting in their in their educational investment accounts, either like 529 or an ESA, And then anything left over after that, then you put on the house. And like if it's a situation where you could be done with the house pretty quickly, you can just skip step 5 temporarily, because then you'll be able to come back to it with, again, that mortgage payment that you don't have to put towards a mortgage anymore. All right, where does this leftover money live? Well, there's not going to be any after step 6. After step 6 is gone. Now, in the budget, as part of the expenses, you can put, again, you can put a vacation in there if you want. You can put fun stuff. You can put, eating out 2 or 3 times a week if you want. That's up to you. But the thing is, what you got to do at that point is you have to start saying, okay, so we're going to do 15% of gross income into retirement. That's always. Unless you're trying to save for a larger down payment. Or if you have debt, obviously, but these people do not. You just have to decide, do I want to do this thing, this vacation thing, or I want to get the house paid off faster? And you get to decide that. So let's see, we put our variable budget into checking, while the fixed, maybe step 4, 5, and 6 contributions will never see those. Those will all be either direct deposit, auto deductions, or put on separate expense checking account. I mean, you should still know where it's going every time. You don't want to put your entire life on automatic. Let's see, should the money left over after all these things just go into checking? No, the leftover money per month, the last of the leftover money per month, like when everything else is taken care of, the investment is taken care of, the baby step 5, say for kid college, is taken care of as well, then every single cent of leftover money goes to the extra on the mortgage. And obviously you do still have the emergency fund as well, and you're not making debt payments at that point. So, but you can take some of that leftover money amount, and you can put it in your budget as fun money, fun stuff. Or like I said, you can budget for a vacation, and you can budget how much to save, and you can do a sinking fund for the vacation, and you just put X amount in that sinking fund every month until you have enough to pay for that vacation. After the hour budget, we're left with okay, baby step 4, putting $1,200. That's 15% of gross annual income. Okay, per month. They're putting into retirement. Okay, baby step 5, $500. See, if they're little kids, if they're just toddlers, 500. You don't have to do that much yet. So, and that's the question of it. And so that's just what you have to find out. And baby step 6, $1,395. That's 50% of all left over. And where does the other 50% of the leftover after these things are taken care of? Emergency fund, $20,000, 4 months of no fund, penny pinching. Right. Right. And you would also, if you were in an emergency, you would also stop contributing to investing as well. A lot of people include all of their expenses, and for the emergency fund, only the necessary expenses would be included. So there wouldn't be any eating out money in the emergency fund, for example. Let's see, fixed. Now they listed out everything. Grocery, $1,400. How many? Did not say how many children. Did not say how many children. Restaurants, $150 a month. Might be a little excessive. Mom clothes, $50 a month. That seems excessive. Kids clothes, $100 a month. You really need that many clothes? I know kids can go through them. They can wear them out. They can outgrow them. But $100 a month. You need to spend $1,200 a year on clothing. And of course, it doesn't say how many kids. Haircut, $125 per month for mom, $35 for dad. Yeah, that's not fair, is it? Copay is $100. All right. So yeah, so none of that really mattered except to say the phone bill is $130 for 2 phones. That's $65 a piece. That's not crazy, I guess. $500 for all utilities. That's internet, $80. The same as mine. Gas, $100. Electric, $200. Water, $150. Y'all using some water and electric. So, and I can understand the gas being higher in the winter if you have gas heat, but you could cut some of that stuff to give you more wiggle room. The problem is you want to do all this stuff. Let's see, only $30 for streaming. So if that's more than one streaming service, you could go down. So, I mean, there's ways to cut more money out of that budget easily, but again, you don't need to put the 500 in probably, but it does depend on what their ages are, because we don't know how many and we don't know what their ages are. And so, like, if it's just one, that's probably too much grocery money, and it's also too much a lot of things in general. Polite Fincha, okay. Maxed out our Roth IRA, no employer 401k match. Pay extra principal on the mortgage or max out 401k. You don't max it out. You put in 15% of your gross household income is what you put in. Let's see, looking for advice on where our money will work for us best. Mr. Ramsey says you should be doing 15% in retirement investing. 30-year-old married, no kids, sales career is starting to bring in some decent cash flow. 170K income. 2024 OTE. Income 210 to 250K. You think, you don't know what's going to happen in 2024, excuse me. 138K base for the both of us, okay? High cost of living. We enjoy spending money on travel and want to start saving for a replacement car soon. Everybody wants to do everything. Don't want to take out a loan. Well, so the key to not wanting to take out a loan is then you don't take out a loan. You just take that option off the table. So if you have to take out a loan for it, you say, oh, I guess I'm not getting a car then. Want to start planning for kids and 529 fund. Yeah, you don't need to worry about that until there is at least one child, and then you can address that. You know, I mean, you can have it in the back of your mind, okay, here's what we'll do if we have a kid, but don't spend hours on it. I mean, you spend 5 minutes on thinking about that and said, okay, and I'll put that in the mind file cabinet for when there is an actual kid. For now, would it make sense to max out 401k first? No, it's not called maxing out. It's called making sure you do want to do Roth first, so you're doing that right by maxing that out. But then you want to do the 401k because that does have the tax advantage of the contributions not being taxed. And so you do want to do that. Let's see what the rest of it is. Have a new 5.575 interest rate on the house. 30 years left with 367K left. They're doing it wrong. Let's see here. 170 and 170. That's 340. So they're probably fine on it, but if they had to get a 30-year mortgage so that they could afford the monthly payment, then you can't afford it. regardless of whether the income means you can afford it, or if you use the formula that Sid so brilliantly came up with. I have this urge to want to aggressively pay off the mortgage and be debt free, but don't want to neglect 401k. Well, you don't neglect it. You're still doing 15% of gross income, and you don't need to do extra than that. Don't need to do more than that. Once you pay off the mortgage, then you can do as much as you want. Especially where the more we put towards mortgage, the more money we will save with interest. Exactly. Gut tells me to do both. Get the 401k up and running. Yes, 15% only though. And you don't invest more than 15% while the mortgage is still existing, because that would be doing it wrong. Perhaps I can do both. Probably not. Ideally want to start with an extra 10k. Let's see, what was it? 170k household income. %. That's not gonna max that out, I don't think. No, because that'll be like 28,000. That's not gonna do it. Let me get the old calculator up here and make sure I mathed that correctly. Let's see. We have 170k, and they said they could make more, and so fine. If you make more, you address it then. But we'll go with 170k now. Times what I say. Oh, 15%. So 0.15 equals 25.5. So yeah, that's not maxing out both of them. So you would come kind of close to maxing out the 401k, but not quite. So that would be 6,500 into the 6,500 into the Roth IRA. But then if that's for each, yeah, that's for each. But the 107, so that would be, yeah. Okay, so it would come close to maxing it out, but it wouldn't quite max it out. So you don't just go ahead and max it out. You keep it at 15% and you put everything extra on the house. Let's see. I'm aware of lifestyle creep and am new into sales, higher income, and have some hour projects that I also want to have money for. Yeah, you can't do everything all at the same time. Sorry. Eventually, the wife and I are interested in raising kids without childcare and having her be a stay-at-home mom. Should have thought about that before you got a 30-year mortgage. If you're planning on paying off in 30 years, hopefully you're not planning on doing that. With the possibility of freelance work on the side. Yeah, all that thought is great, but you got the 30-year mortgage. So if you're planning on not paying it off before 30 years is over, then that is a lot of interest, and she might not be able to be stay at home. Although not making that much money, at least not yet. To whereas I don't know that her salary alone would be that much more than what daycare would cost. So, but again, you don't have any kids yet, so you don't have to plan that far ahead. Again, you can have some thoughts in your mind, but your money plan right now does not include that. Don't currently have a 401k account. Oh, so you would have to even start it up. Because should I consider working with my wife's financial planner and putting money with them to go to work? If your employer offers a 401k account, you do that. Otherwise, that would be it. If you're talking about putting your retirement money into your wife's account, you should probably have your own. Thoughts on where to put additional cash first? Should we follow the 15% retirement rule? Yes, that's why it's there. Then everything else on savings for car, kid. There's no kid. There's no kid yet. People like to jump ahead. Unbelievable. So there's no kid yet, so you don't have to address that yet. take care of reality first, and then after all the reality is taken care of, then you can address what might be reality someday. So in the form of, and that can be just for savings for anything. But yeah, so you're not buying a car right now. You would just be 15% into retirement, just like the plan says. And you see how that helps you. That actually makes it so much easier for you, because then you're not trying to do all this other stuff and all at the same time. So do the baby steps. Much easier than trying to go to all different directions all at the same time, and too early for some of the stuff as well. Let's see, our Homer Man 5, mortgage or student loans. That's going to be student loans, because baby step 2 is pay off all non-mortgage debt, and mortgage debt, pay off the mortgage early, is step 6. But maybe they think, yeah, it's about $58K. Yep. At interest at 30 years, last payment schedule for 2050, monthly payment $555. Student loans total approximately $52K with an average 5% interest. Long story short, qualify per program that may be current, but no payment for student loans with forgiveness after 25 years. All right, well, again, I wouldn't hold breath on that unless that's 100% guaranteed to be forgiven. But even then, Dave said you took him out, you should pay for him. I agree. So I haven't been making payments for the last 10 years or so because of such a low income in the past 6 months. Finally landed an amazing job. Okay, great. None of what I'm going to read is going to change the advice. I apologize for that in advance. Let's see. Getting credit cards, $5K, and a personal loan paid off soon from tax return. Okay, great. Also lower your withholding so you get more money back in each check. Work retention bonus and a small chunk of property. All right. 0.12 acres. All right. Being sold to neighboring grain mill for $5K. Okay. After all that, I snowball credit card payments, right? And personal loan payment. $12K at 4.5% car loan. I snowball credit card payments and personal loan payment. Oh, after he gets those paid off, then he puts that into the $12K car loan. Okay, then I move to tackle the mortgage and student loans. No, then you move to tackle the student loans. Mortgages last. Mortgages after your full emergency fund as well. So which is the better move, to start with mortgage or student loans? Well, you look at the baby steps, and if you look at them, you read them in order. And paying off non-mortgage debt is step 2. Paying off the house early is step 6. So you tell me. Ken Coleman Show. Why has the Ken Coleman Show not been taking as many callers? Has popularity gone down, or is it due to him having to be on the Ramsey Show more often? I don't know anything about them not taking as many callers, or if it's less show time. I mean, if the show still lasts as long, I don't know what the question's all about then. But I don't know, because I don't watch that. Reputation _ adorable, debt free. I'm debt free. I've never been a credit card person, but I've always had hard car loans. What do you mean hard car loans? I paid off my car a year and a half ago, and I've been coasting paycheck to paycheck, constantly draining my savings. Why would you do that? Then last year, I took a once-in-a-lifetime trip, all on a credit card. Beep, 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 beep. Very unlike me, okay? And I have never been more stressed in my entire life. Yeah, that's why you don't do that to begin with. You think about that at a time. Oh, all that debt will probably stress me out. But that's the way it happens. People get in debt, and it stresses them out, and hopefully you learn from it. Let's see. Staring at the statement each month. Yeah. Started listening to Dave Ramsey a couple months ago and decided to work the baby steps. That's a good idea. Save $1,000 emergency fund and vowed to never touch it again. Unless there was an actual emergency. Yep, good call. And then worked my booty off towards paying for my trip. meaning paying the credit card off. So the trip is already done. It was my goal for 2024 to pay it off. I thought it would take me all year, and here I am on the 1st of March, and that credit card is at 0. Yeah, because you find a way. You cut more expenses. You work more. You sell stuff that you aren't using regularly. Now to my 3, and can be a lot of dumb stuff you bought on credit cards too, as well. So that's basically your debt paying off itself if you can sell stuff you bought with that debt. Now on to my 3 to 6 month emergency fund, and then hopefully a house. Well, in between there is going to be a down payment, 10% minimum for a first-time home buyer, 20% to avoid PMI. Side note, I had a car almost emergency last week, and let me tell you, sitting in that dealership waiting room knowing I have a small emergency fund was life-changing. Yeah, you shouldn't go to the dealership, though. That's going to be the most expensive repairs. That's going to be the most expensive way to buy a car. That's going to be the most expensive way to sell a car. Or trade it in, which is you selling the car basically, because they give you something for it, and a private individual is going to give you more money than the dealer will, because the dealer like to take a bite out of it. I've never sat in a car place dealership not being stressed AF, and here I was knowing that whatever it was, I was pretty prepared. Luckily it ended up being nothing much, but that peace of mind was amazing. Absolutely. That's financial peace. And yeah, that feels better. That feels better than, that reminds me of the thing that was in the TikTok video. On one of the videos I commented in, it was the TikTok video was mentioned in an article that I reacted to. And it was, what was it? I'd rather be caffeinated than debt-free and $6 and have $6. So so that's it. That's it as well in this situation. You can say, would I want the trip and have the stress, or would I rather have the money instead? Yep, individual decisions, always. Alrighty. This is from Cassio, kid. Is there hope for me? There's always hope, because you can always stop doing dumb stuff you're doing and start doing smart stuff. Always hope. If you're breathing, there's hope. Never give up, never surrender. I'm 37, single, and earned £3,400 per month after tax. This from a Britain, I suppose. I have £1,600 in student loans left, which will be paid next month. Great. I've sold my car and bought a cheaper one, which gives me my 3 months emergency fund. Excellent. Are you thinking ahead there because as to how it will go, or did it already go that? Because you shouldn't already have your 3 month emergency fund. If you sold your car and bought a cheaper one, any money left over from that should be going to the student loans immediately and be paid off this month instead of sitting in your emergency fund for a month. So you're doing it wrong on that. So let's see if there's hope for that person. I bought a shared ownership house in 2020. In UK, you have a mortgage on 50% and pay rent on the remaining 50%. You should not buy a shared ownership house. This gives me £30,000 in equity. I have £6,000 in private pension from being self-employed. Once that is paid off, I will save for a bigger house deposit and try to move house this year. So I own 100% of the house, and that is, of course, recommended. So yeah, there's plenty of help, but don't jump around the baby steps like it seems like you might have done. So don't do that. Let's see what. Where's the rest of it? Given I have single income in the current UK mortgage/house market, it's unlikely to be 25% of my take-home pay. Well, you need to save longer for a down payment then. If I worked at baby steps, can I get there, or is my age working against me? I mean, it's not great. I mean, you're 37. You're not 50 years old, though. I mean, would it be better if you were 36 and started doing smart stuff? Yes, it would be. But 37 is not too late. Again, you just have to, if you have the single income, like you said, and you're going to blame the housing market on what the mortgage will be, I mean, that's fine to do that, but I mean, that's reality. You can't change that. So you work on the things that you can change, and that would either be to start making more money or to not buy a house as quickly, and you save up more of a higher down payment so that the payment will only be 25% of your take-home pay. So yeah, you can do it. You just have to decide to do it and not jump around on baby steps. CGL, CDR, value of cars over half your income. So a little confused about this. I have 3 cars, all are paid off. Yeah, that's still the same deal though. My hobbies include working on and maintaining my vehicles in my garage. I bought a truck for cash in 2019, paid around $40K. It's currently worth $35K. So it's the net worth that matters. What you spent for them is your problem. It's what they're worth. I bought 2 cash cars way back in 2010 that were my primary transportation, so I paid about $15K each back then. Since COVID, then their value seems to be increasing. The wild thing is that they're worth now about $50K each today. Low mileage enthusiast cars are a rare commodity. So income is $170K. And so they are worth $50K, so that's $100K, and the other one is $35, so $135K, and so that's more than 50%, so that's a negative. So that's against David's advice. You can do what you want to. Baby step 6. So theoretically, you'd be fine, but that's too much to have in depreciating assets when you could sell 2 of them and put that money on the mortgage. And then you can buy other cars and have other hobby cars when you're on step 7. So Dave's advice is to do the baby steps first and then start doing such things as having more than half of your income in depreciating assets known as cars. Mountain shenanigans. An elderly neighbor's homeowner's insurance bill tripled. She's on a fixed income and can no longer afford the payments. Her home is paid in full, so she thought she was set. Yeah, that's not how it works. Then came the shocking bill in the mail. We received the same shocker as well. We live in a very fire-prone area, so going without insurance is just not an option, right? Shouldn't be. Moving is not an option. She is healthy and very involved in the community. May have to move down in house then. Plus everything in this area is untouchable now, even renting an apartment. Then she got to come up with the money for it. Either you can't do both. You can't stay there and not address the insurance bill that she can't afford it. So then what is there anything that can be cut out? If you can cut out something else so that you can afford the insurance, then sure, but otherwise it's not sustainable. So, I mean, too bad. Got to move. Got to sell that house. If you can't afford the insurance or the utilities or anything else associated with the house, then you have to sell the house. Or cut something else out of your budget so that you can afford every associated thing with the house. So you don't have the mortgage payment. You don't have a mortgage payment. Where's the money going? I understand elderly might not be getting that much. Might just be on Social Security. Might not be that much coming in. But that's the reality of this situation. And so what you want to do at that point doesn't matter. Let's see. So now she's thinking about taking out a reverse mortgage. Nope. That's not going to be the option either. Dave doesn't recommend those. She has no kids, so is not concerned about leaving it to someone. What other pitfalls to avoid? It is just bad. Let's see. Oh, let's see what all of them are. Reverse mortgage cons. Drawbacks. Let's see, that's not sponsored. That's what I'm looking for. What's the downside to a reverse mortgage? Reverse mortgage isn't free money. The borrowing costs can be high, and you'll still need to pay for homeowners insurance and property taxes. Beep, 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 doo. So that is not the solution. How about that? Reverse mortgages can also complicate life for your heirs, so there's none of those. Especially if they don't want the home or the home's value isn't enough to cover what's owed. Yep. So none of that matters, but what does matter is she would still have to pay the homeowner's insurance. Now, if the reverse mortgage is going to pay enough to cover that, which I don't know if that's going to happen either. Let's see, do people lose their homes? The exact number of reverse mortgages that end in foreclosure is unknown, but it's possible to end in foreclosure on a reverse mortgage. Yes, it is possible. Well, it's more difficult to end in foreclosure with a reverse mortgage than a traditional one, since you have no mandatory monthly mortgage payment. It is possible. Of course it is. What does Susie Orman say about reverse mortgage? The earliest a homeowner is eligible to take out a reverse mortgage is age 62, but Orman considers it risky to do so. If you tap all your home equity through a reverse at 62 and then at 72 you realize you can't really afford the home, you will have to sell the home. Yeah, so you're still going to end up with issues as long as expenses on that home, associated expenses with the home, if they keep going up and the income does not. Yep. So I'm selling it and moving down in-house. Axel Snapper, credit card cut. Excellent background, 22. With a full-time engineering job, making $69,000 a year before taxes, roughly $55,000 after taxes. Paid college degree, P-A-Y-E-D, college degree. P-A-Y-E-D, college degree. P-A-Y-E-D, college degree. Okay. I can't get past that. That's why I kept saying it over and over so I could get, okay, I've accepted it. It happens. I do know it does happen. In cash, while working during my time in school, after I graduated high school, I got a credit card by my parents telling me to use it and pay it off every month to build credit. Yep, parents love to do that. They think they're doing the right thing for you mostly. I've done that ever since. So no debt whatsoever. I know I have a car I paid, again, P-A-Y-E-D, in cash for that will last a while. Great. 2015 Toyota Camry. Have a savings at $30K. Needing to move out and find my own place soon. All right. Question is about this whole no credit score. I have a credit card with no debt for 9 years so far. Don't see a reason to keep using it, but how does this whole credit card thing work? You cut it up and you close the account. How long does it take for your credit card score to fully go away? It can vary and act as if you never had one, like George Campbell explains in his book, Breaking Free from Broke. Any advice? Yeah, you don't have to care about credit score. So the issue that you would need, though, you would need to be able to, if you're just talking about getting an apartment, which you probably should first, that's going to be, to get that, you do need some history of paying things off. And so I would check to see what the credit score is currently, because you do have it from paying it off. But if you haven't done it No, it's credit card with no debt for 9 years. So it's not going to be that much if you like it, as much as if you let some go past the month instead of paying it off every month. But that's still something. So I would check to see what that credit score is before you worry about not having one, because you will have one even having the card open, using it, and making payments, even if it is every month. All right, month 2 update. My phone has just been going crazy. Sorry. Dum, dum, dum. Month 2 update. Oliver's mom, 19. Last month was month 2 of paying off debt. We're going this weekend to pay off the husband truck. We did restructure a bit because our next smallest debts have no minimum payment. We decided to tackle my husband's truck and credit card, which will be finished by the end of March, as that will open up roughly $700 a month. We also paid off another credit card. Okay, great. That brings us to $2,794.95 paid off to date. Excellent. Next month is focusing on my husband's credit card and his next student loan, on top of freeing up the minimums, which it does. My husband got a raise at work. Excellent. So we are looking to use his income to live off of and mine to pay our debts. Okay, that's great. This would be to see if we can comfortably live off his income when we have kids, so I can be a stay-at-home mom. All right, that's fine to have little experiments like that, because that's not like costing you extra money as it is to start saving for kid college when there is no kid yet. Let's see. January 2024 starting debt was $97,562, and current debt $93,967. So they're doing it. I mean, that's only been 2 months, so they're getting it done. So this must have been a New Year's resolution thing, since they started 1st of January. Excellent. Baby step 3 is done. Jedi Fed. Didn't I read this already? Are people reposting stuff? Later, let's see. Jedi Fed has posted on here quite a few times. Let's see. We finished Baby Step 3 as of today. I have $12,250 with one more big payment, my bonus, which should amount to another $1K. Okay? So it's not really a payment if it's going into your savings, your emergency fund. But I mean, however it helps to think about it, I guess. I mean, you still have a purpose for the money, and if you want to call that a payment, who is it for me to say something? Except I just did. That is roughly a year's expenses in a fully funded emergency fund. Okay, and that you're doing it wrong. Then it should be 6 months until baby steps 4, 5, and 6 are done. You're doing it wrong. The next step would be baby step 4 at 15% of our income going towards retirement, right? But we are very far behind. Plugging everything into the baby step calculator. For the two of us, we should have saved $108K by now. Well, you haven't. So what you want to do, though, is not have a year-long emergency fund when you should be only having 6 months. Put the other 6 months of emergency fund to the baby steps, which would be that investing. So, and then you might be okay. So if you had if you had retirement accounts already last year, or even one retirement account, you can still max that one out until tax day. Plugging everything in. Oh, I did read that already. We have a total of $22.50. To catch up, we should be able to save 2/3 of my income. Budget of $1K, not changing. Excellent. And I take home around $38K now. So that's a total of $26K to direct at retirement savings every year. Okay. We'd catch up with where we were supposed to be in 5 years, meaning we have $126K. And again, you could just take the 6 extra 6 months you have in the emergency fund, you take that out and you can invest that, and then it'll catch up even faster. What are tips for maintaining motivation? Well, you don't do the baby steps wrong by, it doesn't say save 3 to 12 months of expenses. Now does it, my friend? It does not. Roughly a year's expenses. And yeah, it doesn't say to do that. Where does it say to do that? We've been on this journey since October of 2001, so about 2.5 years. And this step would take us, maybe they met each other in 2001. Unless that's supposed to be 2021, which might be the case. But that's not what is on here. And this step would take us about 5, staying on the same budget before we catch up. Where we should have been from the start. And recommendations, question mark, and you know where this is going. So Mr. Ramsey has a thing called the baby steps, and they're right here on the side panel of the subreddit. And it's baby steps, and they're numbered, and they're in order the way you should do things. And under baby step C, let's see what it says. It says grow your $1,000 savings, that's from baby step 1, into 3 to 6 months. It says 6 months, not 12 months. So that was your own thing that you did, and as always, it's your money, it's your life. You can do what you want to do, but that is going to make you get there slower. Lower card 579. This will sound stupid. All right. Thanks for the warning. I have $50,000 liquid cash available and another $8,000 in a brokerage that I assume would count towards readily accessible cash, which would pay for my house, utilities, gas, groceries, and all other necessities for 12 months. It can't be, that's not your emergency fund because it's not immediately accessible. You say would count toward a brokerage, it's going to take 1 to 3 days to, it could take 1 day to sell, to turn it into the sell, to turn it into cash. And then they have to disperse it to you 1 to 3 days. So that could be as many as 4 days. And probably 2 days at the absolute fastest. And you cannot have that. You have to have immediate access to it. That emergency is not going to wait 1 to 3 days for that to happen. You say, oh, emergency, just chill for a couple of days while I get my money. So, let's see. And all other necessities again for 12 months with this person. What is it with the people in 12 months all of a sudden? I could probably stretch that out to 13 to 14 months. Right, because you wouldn't be doing like, say, investing if there were some kind of emergency. You wouldn't be doing anything extra if there's an emergency. It would just be absolute necessities because it's an emergency. I have a truck loan that is $21,000. All right, where in the baby steps, where in Dave's advice does it say have 50,000 liquid cash available? Where does it say to put $8,000 in a brokerage account before paying off your debt, which is step 2? Investing is step 4, and that's just in retirement, not 8,000 play money in a brokerage. You also have student loans. So $25,000 in debt. Has 50 liquid cash sitting around. He's doing it wrong. My plan is to pay those student loans off before May with money earned outside of that $58,000. Why wait? Why wait? Always been very conservative and no bad things will happen. It's only a matter of when. Right, that's what you have a 6-month emergency fund for, not a year. Because, again, you're making it take longer for you to get to step 7. Nothing you're doing is going to make that happen quicker. I'm struggling with pulling $21K out at one time to just pay that truck off. Tough. Do it. The truck payment is $480 a month. Obviously, I'd be able to save that $480K along with another 1,000 to 1,500 on top of it every month. Yes, you would if you did that. So you can't convince yourself to do that because of that. I'm just struggling with the psychological part of pulling all that money out at one time. Sure, I get it. Should I just continue paying extra on the truck or go ahead and rip off the Band-Aid after the truck and student loan? My only debt will be my home. Okay, so you see, what you have to do in this case, again, where I used my hands to explain it, you have to say, what do I want more? Do I want $50,000 in a liquid cash and 8,000 in a brokerage? Or do I want to be out of debt more? Which one do I want? And then you pick. And if it's not Mr. Ramsey's advice, he'll be fine. And so will I. So you can do what you want to. But you're the one that has to decide. Only the person that is living the life and making the income gets to decide this stuff. And that's you. So congratulations. Go to the mirror and do it's me, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. That's correct, and you are the problem. So you can follow Mr. Ramsey's advice, which has been proven millions of times, or millions of documented times even, or you can do what you want to do. Whether it be for psychological reasons or any other reasons, or just because you freaking want to, you get to do that. Coffee table 105, starting a budget questions. Okay. Hi all, my wife and I make decent amount of money between us, $250K to $300K, but seem to leak money somewhere. Over the past few weeks, I've spent a lot of time planning and putting together a budget to ensure we are accounting for everything and make us more conscious and aware of where the money's going. We have everything itemized into categories and subcategories. I was thinking about using the envelope method as I feel cash is the best way to ensure we are not overspending in various areas. Yep, some people have to do that. My ex-wife and I did not have any problem sticking to the budget using debit cards. But some people do have to do that. I'm looking for any advice you might have for first-time budgeters. Give yourself a break. If it's not right, give yourself at least 3 months before you start going, stupid, why can't I do this right? At least give yourself 3 months for that, because especially when you haven't been paying attention at all, you don't know how much stuff costs. You don't know how much food costs. You don't know. And unless you do forensics on your checking account, you don't know how much you're spending. You don't know how much you're spending at the grocery store either. So you obviously want to get that down as low as possible when doing the baby steps. But you just don't know when you're budgeting for the first time. Usually because you haven't paid attention and you haven't been intentional with money at this point yet. But now you are, and so you got to give yourself a break for that. I'm very much interested what the best way to get the cash out. Do it weekly or monthly. That again is going to be up to you. If you get monthly cash out, dog, and it's sitting in the envelope, are you going to spend that faster? So that's up to you. So I mean, if you really need to do it, you would get the cash out of the bank the day you go grocery shopping, and only the amount that you want to spend at the grocery store, and you take it over there. If you have that much of a problem and you have to do it that way, that's fine. Do it that way. Do it whatever way works. Also, after all of our line items are accounted for, the remaining money will go towards paying off debt. Correct. My question is, however, when do you do this at the end of the month? Any and all advice is welcome. Thanks in advance. Okay, the problem that some people have with this is that they say the end of the month comes around, it's the 31st of the month, or 30th, whatever it would be, or 29th, as in the case of just a few days ago of February. Happy Leap Day, everybody. But here's what happens. people have done this before, and they say, okay, so we paid all our bills for this month, and then they send everything extra to debt, and then the house payment is due on the 5th, and they don't get paid until the 7th. You see, you got to be able to take care of, you got to subtract from the available money, all the remaining money. You have to subtract whatever you need to get you to the next paycheck. And even more, you have to subtract even more if one paycheck isn't enough to pay whatever bills will need to be paid before you get paid again. That kind of thing. So you do have to plan that out, and that is a common mistake that is made. And so, but eventually you'll figure out, like, to have you know how much like of a buffer amount you would need. Like, that would mean that you would always have $500 in the account, and that way you get to your time where the mortgage is due, which is generally the highest expense. And so then you would pay your mortgage, and then it might be less than $500 at that point, but that's fine because you don't need the money to pay any other bills until you get paid again. And so, or, you know, expenses like groceries or anything like that. So yeah, you'll work it out eventually. But yeah, give yourself at least 3 months before you call yourself names in the mirror. Yes, you're still the problem. It's still you, but you don't need to call yourself names over it. Because we're all the problem. Every one of us. Even me. Some would say I'm even more of a... did I close the wrong window? No, I didn't. Oh, I just opened it and I didn't open it in a new tab. Whoops. That one. There we go. Okay, yeah. Some people would say I'm more of a problem. Consistent bet, 13. Baby steps 4, 5, and 6. Flare. We made it through baby step 3. We did it. We did it. We did it. Loisima, we did it. Explorer movie, finally, the live action one. It was pretty good. Last year we had $20K in student debt and a $25K HELOC with about $35K in savings. And they're doing it wrong, obviously. $25K HELOC, $35 in savings. Well, you know what you could do instead? You could use that $35 K in savings to do whatever you were trying to do with that HELOC loan. The equity line of credit, rather. This morning we have 0 debt. Donut debt is approved. Definitely. $30K in the bank. Excellent. My favorite part? What's that? Now we're going to start working on making sure our kids get the head start we didn't. It was hard at first, but it became easy over time. You don't realize how little those Amazon boxes mean to you until you stop getting them, right? Or how overpriced restaurants. Yep, until you stop going. We spend more time at home now with each other. Excellent. We don't have to spend money to make a connection. I don't think I'll ever go back to how things were. Yeah, I mean, doing this stuff, it does change you. It doesn't change you. Oh, another frugal thing that I do get takeaway sometimes, but I'm the delivery driver. And my tip is not giving a tip to somebody else. Gumlet 5221, public service loan forgiveness. Earlier this week, my wife got confirmation from Mohela, one of the major student loan servicers, that our public service loan forgiveness was approved and nearly $45,000 in debt was wiped clean. We ecstatic about that. All right. Maybe the husband did not go to college. We ecstatic. Just left out the word R. Maybe he was posting on a phone. It happened. Small buttons on there. Last month, I got confirmation from Mohela that I only have 20 more monthly payments left until my forgiveness is approved. You might want to say until my forgiveness could be approved, maybe. You don't want to do a hard commit on that if it's not 100% certainty. Now let's see, I meet a lot of people who doubt that student loan forgiveness is real. No, it happens in some cases, but the percentage is just low. is real, but this feels like a huge relief for us now that we have newborn twins. You chose to take out the loans. Our only other debt is $23K in car loans. Having student loan forgiveness is a huge relief. Now that the dilemma is whether we pay off the cars right now in cash or hold off until we have a clearer understanding of the baby expenses. Babies don't cost that much. We have about $66K in cash savings right now, but it feels nerve-wracking to part ways with that much cash with newborn twins, daycare costs, etc., etc. Our annual income is $170K. Now, if mom and babies are home safe from the hospital, that's when you would not have that cash savings anymore and you would pay off your debt. I mean, you want to wait a week or two to see what kind of costs you're getting, fine. Okay, if you have no idea, that's just like the people with the budget. If they never looked at what they're spending before, you're not gonna make a good budget the first time. And so if you have zero clue about how much stuff is going to cost, or I would say if you have an extra, an extra $500 a week, I would think that would cover it, but whatever, if you want to wait a couple weeks and see how much is spent. Now, what you don't want to do is get child fever and start buying all kinds of stuff that they don't need. Babies need very little. They need to eat and they need to sleep, and basically make sure they don't hurt themselves is the main thing that they need at that point. Get a lot of huggins and lovins and so forth, but that's the main thing that they need. Just enough money for food at that point. And if they have somewhere comfortable to sleep, that's all they need. They don't need a whole bedroom suite. So you need to chill on that and get that dumb debt out of the way. And if you get approved, and that's something the government does, then more power to you. But the advice is that you took out the loans, you pay them off. Chaotic Neutral _87 FPU class of 24. Congratulations. I just had another class of FPU students graduate yesterday. Okay, great. We cut up 12 cards on the class. Oh, okay. Well, the last one, maybe you saved them for the last day for fun. And that's approved. Also, we had a 16-year-old who attended every lesson and soaked in all he could. I have a high hope for his future. Absolutely. Because if you're just like at home or with your friends where you're hearing stuff, and it may be stuff that their parents are telling them, like my parents told me, you're always going to be in debt. You'll always have a car payment. They told me that. And guess what? Neither of those was true. And so, it's always good when they can be exposed to the Ramsey advice. Absolutely. Funny CT girl, is $1,000 emergency fund enough when you have a rental property? Okay, so you see, if you are on $1,000 emergency fund level, that's baby step 1. There is no rental property. You would sell that. Let's say I have only $14,000 in credit card debt plus my own mortgage on my house of $142. That's it for debt. You would sell that rental property and put the money on your own. Now, actually, just apply it to your debt, wipe that out, and any extra, you have your full emergency fund, and then you can start investing as well, and then put any extra on the house. That's it for debt. My rental property is owned outright. Yeah, you should still sell it. I haven't seen Dave or anyone mention that what the rule should be if there is one. He said it several times. For how much you should put aside for a rental maintenance. Well, if you're on baby step 7, in that case, $1,000 is not enough. No. But yeah, about how much you should need, that would depend on, I guess, how old the house is and so forth, and a bunch of, and the cost of living in your area is going to affect that as well. So I don't know that, but yeah, $1,000 is definitely not enough to counter major issues on 2 houses. Never mind 1, right? And you're not supposed to have a rental house while you're paying off debt. So you're doing it wrong, and so that would be the Dave advice, to sell that rental property and you pay off your non-mortgage debt, and then you just go walk up the baby steps, which would be, let me get to them again, there we go. So you're on the $1,000, so assuming you have $1,000 now, you would sell the rental property, and with that cash you would pay off all debts from smallest to largest using the debt snowball method, except for that mortgage. And then with any money left over, you would add that to the $1,000 baby step 1 into baby step 3, which is the 3 to 6 months of living expenses for your fully funded emergency fund. And then after that, then you could max out, if you already have a retirement account for last year that's not maxed out, you could max that out. If there's any, it just depends on how much equity you have on that. You have all equity. That's right. It's owned outright. So could do that, or you could sell your house and get out from under that mortgage and move into your rental property. Either one of those, but you don't have both when you're on step 2. What would Dave do? He would not have rental property on step 2. Hegemisg. No idea how to pronounce that. How much to throw at debt? All of it. You throw all of it at debt. You make more money and you throw that at debt too. I spent most of my adult life out of debt, but lifestyle inflation, new job, new city, that's not lifestyle inflation, that's lifestyle creep. Instead, be a widow. Why the heck are you in debt? So that song is in my music playlist, along with 7 other Ramsey adjacent songs. Give those a listen on my YouTube channel if you would like to. Hit my husband and I the last couple years pretty hard, and that was dumb. Yes, we've all done dumb stuff, myself included. I'm not immune. And now we have about $13,000 in credit card debt. That's a lot of dumb, though. We live in a really in just a few years, we live in a really pricey area, and that's going to be your problem too. You don't have to live there. It's not a law. And we have 8 kids, and having that many kids isn't a law either. My husband's take home is $118,500. Rent is $24 per month. What is the? Boom, 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 boom. I mean, that's fine, right? $2,400. So that's $4,800. No, that doesn't work like that. We need to have the house, the price of the house. What the mortgage is, the total mortgage, not the payment. We have no other debt. I want to take the bull by the horns and get this shaken off. It's all about T-Swizzle. I think if we get realistic about what we can afford, we can live off 80% and use the remainder to pay off the debt in the next 7 months. But I want to keep, here we go. Let's see what we want to keep. I want to keep that margin going forward because I think the mentality of spending 100% of our income is what is getting us into trouble. We have no margin. Yeah. And so, you know how like before you spent money and did fun stuff? For a while, you're not going to do that. You're going to stop doing that. I'm also motivated right now because I transferred the balances to a car with no interest for the next 6 months. And that makes you think you did something. But you just move the debt around. Last October, we at least stopped the bleeding and haven't added to anything. Well, that's great. If you haven't added to any debt since October, that's excellent. And we brought the balance down from $16,000 to $13,000 in that time. Okay, great. Not adding to it, paying off $3,000 of it, great. But I want to make more substantial progress. Will you stop doing dumb stuff with money? Get rid of all your lifestyle inflation, as you call it. If you bought stupid crap that you don't use regularly, with some of that debt, you can sell it and make that debt pay for itself. Does it seem like a reasonable goal? Absolutely, it's a great goal. But you may have to work more and definitely spend less. You cut that budget to the bone. I feel really committed to not using the credit card to manage. Well, okay, so let me I'll tell you this. If you cut the card up, then you can't use it. Now, until it's paid off, you can't close it either. You can ask them to close it to new charges. You can do that. That way you don't have to worry about it getting hacked or whatever. That way you basically don't have to worry about anything except paying off the balance on it. Some of them won't do that, though, I think. But you can always ask for them to close it to new charges. Because then we are always catching up. I'm having doubts today because our pool registration deadline is in a month. Hey, guess what? Maybe you don't go to the pool this year. And we just do not have that cash this month. Then you don't go to the pool this year. It's $870, cheapest pool around. Then you don't go to the pool that year. Or you go to a more expensive one, but you pay a day rate if they have a day rate. This is the first big thing I will have to say no to everybody in my family about. Yep. And I'm wondering if I'm being too hard. No, you're being scared because it's been yes, 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 yes all along. And that's going to be a no for me, dog. So I would be standing right next to you on that. My husband said, "Why are you punishing us?" Oh, goodness gracious, sir. Be an adult. Be a man. My goodness. Why are you punishing us? Is she the only... Is 8 kids, I assume she's stay-at-home mom, and he's the one that works. So she just decided to do this all without him? She's doing it herself, and she runs the show? I said it's not a punishment. Nobody is entitled to do something they can't afford. No, that's right. That's right, but it needs to be both of you guys. You know, it's a marriage. He's not your son. So it's not like that. I mean, but the why are you punishing us? That certainly sounds like a little kid question. So I mean that's weird. I mean, maybe he doesn't know the numbers, and maybe you take care of all the numbers. You're the nerd, that kind of thing. But yeah, you got to communicate and compromise with said husband. Is it worth the debt to not have my family mad at me? No, it's not. It's not. The family being mad about something like that they don't need, if they get all their needs met, they are better off than a lot of people. And so, no, debt is not worth your family not being mad at you. Let them be mad at you. That's fine. The kids, what? The kids, they don't get a vote. They don't work. If they wanna get a job and kick in a little bit for some of the costs, then that's a different thing. Then maybe you give them a little bit of a vote there, 0.25% of a vote or something like that. But they're not working. Kids don't get a vote on anything. They're kids. Now, it seems like you're treating your husband like a kid somewhat, so maybe counseling for that. And that's a different thing between you and him. If he's mad at you, that's a different thing. That's a relationship issue, not a parenting issue, even though it sounds more like it is a parenting issue. All right, yeah. Communication, compromise, always. And if you can't do that, then it's time for the third C, which is counseling. Is Dave way for everyone? It is for everyone. It will work for everyone that commits to it, but everyone won't do it, for sure. For sure. Because nobody wants to say, oh no, we're not going to go to the pool this year. We will go next year after all our crap is taken care of. So we're going to have 1 year without the pool, or like I said, we find one that offers day pass, and we pay more. I mean, that's not, that's not, if you spread it out, that's not going to be, a lot of people justify that kind of membership as the way to make it worth it, because if we just paid the day rate, it's going to be a lot more expensive. But unless you frame that argument by what it would cost if you go every day, and this is how much we're going to save, and then you only go once a week, then that's intellectual. You're not being intellectually honest with yourself. Intellectual dishonesty, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so I've seen a lot of posts that have the same kind of theme. Should I follow the baby steps to the letter, or should I do X? And it's the Dave Ramsey subreddit, so you would wonder why you would get that kind of thing. But it's the Reddit. They can post whatever they want, and I can use it for free content. A lot of them have to do with whether to pay off their sub 4% mortgage rate early or invest in something with a higher rate. I'm guessing this comes up more because we're living in an interesting time where there's higher investment rates out there for people who bought houses at a lower rate, right? I've seen some people say things like Dave's advice is for people who lack self-discipline. No. People who have self-discipline can also succeed using this same plan. This plan is for everybody. It works for everybody. So there's no need to have two plans. Why get complicated? And because then you also run into the thing. Like, again, I haven't confirmed this, but I believe what the case is that the money guys say you should use low interest credit cards if you can handle them. And so, but that you're putting the person because guess what? Most people are going to think they can freaking handle it. And so you're wasting their freaking time to see if they can handle it. And if they can't, then they've gotten debt. And then they have to pay off the debt on top of that. And then basically they have to start all over again. So that is just a waste of time. Dave's way works for everyone. And everyone can be successful doing it. And also, again, you have to think about, like I said earlier, you have to think about if you are investing in something with a higher rate, say like a high yield savings account, that kind of thing, the amount of interest you're paying on your mortgage each month is going to dwarf what the investment is making. Because you're just putting a little amount in there. So it's going to dwarf that amount. And so it's going to take time before that goes like that. And they meet in the middle and say hi. And then eventually, if enough time goes by, hopefully it wouldn't, before you would have the mortgage paid off. Then eventually, though, then it will start making more than you're paying on the much interest you're paying on the mortgage each month. But you're not immediately going to make that much. So it's intellectual dishonesty when they're like comparing this stuff. So, but it is for everyone in that it will work for everyone if you do it like he says to do it. If you want to do it your way, you can do it your way, and not everyone is gonna follow this advice. So it depends on what you mean by is Dave's way for everyone. Everyone is not going to do it. So in that way, it's not for everyone, but everybody could do it. Yes, even the smarter, more intellectual, more disciplined people, they can do this, and they will even be more successful at it because they're disciplined. How about that? Angry Duckling 1 says $650,000 income to $1 million in debt is not the same thing as $65K to $100K. No, it's not. Not at all. One common thing the personalities say I can't get down with is if something like if $650K income to $1 million in debt. I don't think they say that. The problem is, let's see, someone with $650K income can life off of 10% of their income, $65K a year. You think $650K earners that are not following Dave's advice right now, you think they're living on $65K a year? They're not living on anywhere near that. Let's see. Someone with 65K income most certainly cannot live off 5. Right, that's right. Yeah, no. There's not. There's an issue with your thinking as far as you're kind of halfway there, because most people, it seems like, especially the people in the Ramsey Show chat, that cannot relate to the callers that make $100,000 or more, because what they're doing is they're comparing that income to their amount of debt. And I'm constantly telling people they probably have at least the same percentage to their income in debt as you do, if not more, probably more, because of the higher income and lifestyle creep. So they say they can't relate. You should be able to relate to anybody in debt. I mean, debt is debt. And so they, once they start to get smart and start doing it correctly, then they do have a bigger shovel, so they can make more progress faster than you did, yes. But as far as from a starting point, Richies are no different. Tommy _5_0. How should I attack my debt? With a remote control, you just throw it. You pay it off. Let's see specifically what this person's talking about. Tommy 5. $20,000 on my car. Should I be putting as much money into each monthly payment as possible, or pay the normal monthly payment until I can save enough cash to pay it off completely? Okay, so a lot of people have this question, and they think if they save a certain amount, a big sum, and then it works both ways the same way. If they put it towards debt, that will have a bigger impact on the interest. Or if they save up money over time and they get a big chunk of money and then they put it in the market, that's going to make more money that way. It's not going to make more money. You need to put money on debt as soon as possible, and that lowers the interest, and that makes it be paid off quicker. And the reverse, putting it in the market, into retirement account, or even regular investing. If you do it every week out of every paycheck, or every 2 weeks out of every paycheck, you will make more money than saving it up for the whole month and doing it once a month. It's proven that works, and it works both ways, paying off debt and investing. 4:51. Okay, do about 9 more minutes. We'll see. Strawberry Shelby 898 says, 5K to debt or 5K for car? Transportation is part of baby step 0, so that would supersede the paying off of debt. The thing would be, do you want a car or do you need a car? Need the car. So let's find out. Hello. I am 24, female. I'm about to receive a check from my beloved grandfather for 5K. All right. I have a car loan for less than 20K that I make monthly payments of $358. I'm trying to decide if it would be better to throw that check towards my car loan or get my car loan out of negative equity by throwing my own money at it. Right now, Kelly Blue Book values it around 18 to 19K. Sell it back to the dealership and then take up 5K and buy a beater. How much do you owe on it? Where is it? I have a car loan for less than 20K. Okay. I mean, that's up to you. I mean, that's still... You have less than 20, and then you can get 18 or 19. So that means, so she's going to get 5K out of that. You're not going to sell it to the dealership and get 5K out of it. You're not going to do that. Now, if you can sell it for $5K more than you owe on it. Well, okay, so even if you do get $5K from a dealer, you would get through private sale, you would get more. But I'm trying to work backwards because she says, just says less than $20K on the loan, but doesn't say how much it is. So but what she's saying, it values it around 18 to 19. She thinks she's going to get Kelly Blue Book value from the dealer or not. Dealer's going to take a bite of that. So dealers aren't in it to help you out at times at all. So they were going to take a bite whether you are buying from them or selling to them or trading stuff in. So private sale, you would get more money out of it. That way you get more money whether you're selling or buying. You get to keep more money or you get to get more money. So you could go down to a beater. That's up to you. Let's see, it doesn't say like the year or anything like how old it is and so forth like that. So you could do that and get rid of that $20K immediately. Or you could just put the $5K on that loan if that's the smallest loan that you have, smallest debt that you have. That's what you would put it on. So that's gonna be up to you. I mean, you can always, if you go down on a beater, you immediately, that $20K is gone immediately. And so, but you could, never know. You could have issues with, if you buy a $5K beater, you could have issues with that. And that may end up being more trouble in the long run. So it is completely up to you. Whether you want to do that or pay it off. Now, doing the beater, that's some, gazelle stuff. And so if you do that, more power to you. But I would consider everything and any beater that you want to buy, make sure your mechanic, not a dealer mechanic, not the person that's selling it mechanic, but make sure your mechanic takes a look at it to check things on it to make sure that the vehicle is okay. IC tip, $16.96. That does not sound comfortable. Mortgage paid off. Just received the confirmation letter that my mortgage is now paid off. Excellent. I'm so excited to not have any more payments go towards debt or interest. That's great. However, it's spring and houses are popping up for sale, and I really want a larger home. Beep, 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 doo. I almost started to play the Price is Right winning music. And something told me don't do that. It could have just been my laziness, or it could have been I had this premonition. Probably more my laziness. I told myself to wait a year before looking, but I just made an appointment to go look at 2 houses this weekend. What am I doing? Debt free. Exactly. So you want to change that immediately. Some people can't help themselves. So the advice is going to be to not freaking do that. But, people are going to do what they're going to do. Suspicious couple, 139. Interesting. Suspicious of each other or suspicious of other people together. Like both of them being suspicious of other people at the same time. Debt payoff timeline. I've been Dave-ish for a long time. So being Dave-ish is going to make it take longer. Coming back to his stuff again. And this time I'm going to get serious. Excellent. Here's my situation. Monthly take home, approximately 10K. Debt using round numbers. Thank you. Car 1. Could have just said how much debt is in total. How much does it? It doesn't total it for me. 26,500, 39,500. That's 40, so 47,000. I'm doing the math in my head. 55,000, $115,000. Not including more. $115,000 student loans, 2 cars. Why do you need 2 cars? Oh, there is a couple. Car 1, $6,500. That's the one you're keeping. Car 2, $20,000 personal loan. That's the one you're selling. And you're buying a $5,000 car for that one. My monthly mortgage is about it's $1,007,000 is what is written as. Probably $1,700 probably was supposed to be. Groceries about $1,200 per month for a family of 4. It's $300 a week. I think you could cut that down. Regular expenses also include the usual. In fact, let me take that back. You can cut that down. Include the usual utilities, phone, go to T-Mobile, get off the iPhones, cable, internet. Cut out the cable. Watch stuff on the internet. Life insurance, definitely necessary. You're not cutting out life insurance. That's part of baby step 0. Forthcoming video on that soon, one day. But yeah, cut out the cable. I really need to attack this mess. If you can still watch other shows on the internet. I really need to attack this mess. Absolutely. And get it cleaned up because I'm not getting any younger. You and me both. My plan, and everybody, my plan is to throw about $4,000 per month towards this debt using the snowball method. Does this seem reasonable? Should I be doing more? Interested in feedback? Well, you can add to that amount by not spending $1,200, $300 per week per person on groceries. You could cut back on that. You could cut back by cutting the cable out. And you could be putting that on debt as well. And anything else, I don't know what you are doing. $10,000 monthly take home. So that means $4,000 per month. So that means $6,000 of spending. If you can live on less than $6,000, which in some areas you probably can, then add to that $4,000. And get serious about it, like you said. And most people find that it does happen faster than they think it will. Oh, it's 5:01. Going over. Dark light Hitomi. I don't know. Is Hitomi some kind of anime thing? I don't know what that is. How to start from nothing? Well, you start with nothing, which it's easy to have nothing, so that's easy. Let's see. How do I go from homeless with 2 dependents living in a car and a low income, as I consider people making $100K a year as absurdly rich? What does that have to do with it? I mean, I would think being homeless with 2 dependents living in a car, you wouldn't have time to add that to the part of the question. To being able to invest money, well, you have to get your life settled first before investing money. So let's see. Everyone I've heard on the show are all rich people with insanely wealthy incomes. I mean, they're in better shape than you are because they're not homeless. So definitely. So who just don't know how to spend it properly. I don't want to be rude. I don't know the exact situation, but how did you end up being homeless? Was it from not knowing how to spend it properly? It would be the same thing. But I don't make enough to pay rent, much less put aside even $100 on investment. Heck, if I find cash on the ground that goes straight to food, my income is not sustainable for survival, much less wealth building. You need to get more income then. The baby steps require income. Unfortunately, it doesn't need to be a lot, but you need to be able to live on less than that income, because the extra is what goes to the baby steps. That's your snowball, the extra. All my efforts to get better jobs fail. You got to keep trying. I've only gotten one job, actually speaking to the manager in charge of hiring before actually filling out an application. Okay, great. You got to keep trying regardless. I'd like to start a business of some sort. How? as I think that's my chance to get a better income despite the risk. But I'm already working 12 to 16 hours a day, 7 days a week. You're working that much and you don't make enough. I feel like I'm a catch-22. I need more money so I can spend less money. Yeah, that's not how it works either. You got to make it work the other way. Can't cook nor store much food. Family all have food issues, in some cases severe. Do you mean the 2 dependents that are living with you? The rest of them are on their own, so that's not your issue. Your 2 dependents is included in your expenses, but the rest of them aren't. So I need a place so I can cook and store food, but that costs money that I have to spend. The cheapest single bedroom or studio places are all about $1,200 plus all the extra fees. Even the $1,200 base rent is almost half my monthly income. You do need to make more income, that's no doubt. If it's a high cost of living area, you may have to get out of there. For those wondering, my only debt is $14,000 for the car and $1,800 on a credit card. Yeah, I mean, that doesn't matter. Even if you were in that situation and didn't even have any debt, you wouldn't be able to get out of it. But I'd have lost the car and been living in a cardboard box under a bridge on multiple occasions without that card. How? Oh, because you've been putting stuff on there over time. Okay, I see. I do pretty good avoiding debt, but I'm reaching the point that I just don't see how to move up financially with lost, at least temporarily, using debt in some way. Debt should be the last possible option. And those that claim I make excuses on excuses as a reason you think is stupid and insignificant. No, I mean, you being homeless and not making enough money, that's certainly a reason why you're in the situation you are. And that you can't get out of it. That much is certain. So, I mean, you can call that an excuse or a reason. It doesn't matter what you call it. That is why you can't get out of the situation. Telling me that you think my reasons are stupid and insignificant does not help me deal with them. It does not help me overcome them. All right. Well, I mean, you do have time to type all this on the Reddit. So maybe less time doing that and doing the stuff that you need to do, but it doesn't sound like you know what you need to do. So you maybe check to see if the city or a church has some kind of program that could help you. You could do that. You can see if there's some free counseling or anything like that as well. But yeah, unfortunately, the baby steps do require an income, and not being homeless also requires an income. And if you don't make it, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't magically do something, and you can't magically go from homeless to starting a business with no money. You can't do that. I mean, that's you're thinking. You're the way you're thinking is not realistic, and so that's sad. It's not so fun to be homeless. I'm sure I would not like it one bit. So hopefully something will happen that can change for you, but you do have to keep trying to get out of that situation. Alrighty, for you and your dependents. Let's see if we got another one subscriber there. Nope, still at 908. All right. So Coach Steve Money. YouTube.com/CoachSteveMoney. You can see many more streams like this where I answer questions like these, including on past editions of this show, answering your financial questions, and the Ramsey After Show. Also, the music playlist has 8 Ramsey adjacent songs in it, so definitely check those out if you are so inclined. As far as my wrong one, that's the baby steps. That one. I'm Coach Steve Money. I'm a Ramsey Solutions Certified Financial Coach. And if you've got any problems or you just want to make sure you're on the right track, you can schedule a free financial coaching consultation with me at calendly.com/CoachSteveMoney. That is a video conferencing appointment, so you can do that from anywhere in the world, even your car if you're living in it. As long as you have internet, you can do that. Email about coaching or anything else on my YouTube channel at coachstevemoney@gmail.com. Donations can go to PayPal.me/CoachSteveMoney. Alternatively, donations can be Cash App at $CoachSteveMoney. Or a Walmart gift card to coachstevemoney@gmail.com. You can have me on the gram at Coach Steve Money. Of course, the YouTube channel is youtube.com/CoachSteveMoney. Upcoming streams, this show every Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Central Time, Ramsey time. He gets to do that time during the weekdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, and I figured I'll do it on the weekends. And so there's that. The next Ramsey Show After Show is March 20th. And other streams as well, like I'm playing the older Tomb Raider games now. I finished Legend, and I'm doing Anniversary now. And the next one will be Underworld. And those are from the mid-2000s. Is when those games came out, and really fun. Sometimes it takes me a while to do the correct controller motions for it, but I'm getting through it. Let's see. What else have I got going on? The Curse of Oak Island, no cap recaps, late Tuesday nights. I've also started doing the Lost U-Boats of World War II recaps, so those are available. And I do other financial videos every so often. Is that all of I'm trying to do this off the dome right now. I'm trying to think of what else I have. Anyway, I have a bunch of different interests, and they are reflected all on this one YouTube channel. So please subscribe, like, and comment, and thank you so much for your support always, and make smart financial decisions every day.